Hey everybody, it's Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun, host of Vancouver Island Time and Community Talks. I thought I'd just give you an update on how working with a realtor works these days. Over the past few years, things have changed significantly with respect to the documents that we have to explain to you. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you about this today is because I actually received a couple of calls from buyers who are interested in properties. And just so you understand that listing agents actually have agency with a seller. And when you call the listing agent, there's some implications around what happens with you and the information that you're sharing with the agent. So this is called we call it the DORTS, or the Disclosure of Representation in Trading Services, and it explains your relationship with a realtor. We are required to, if we're not talking to you about factual information about real estate and a property that we're showing, we are required to talk to you about what your representation will be when you're working with a realtor. And we have to follow these rules. A lot of people think this is a contract. It's not. It's a disclosure form, and it's just a regulatory requirement on our part. So when you're working with a realtor, there's two ways right now you can work with one. One is as a client. And as a client, we have a duty of loyalty to you. So we have to act only in your best interest. We have to fully disclose information, so tell you anything that may influence your decision in a transaction. We have a duty to avoid a conflict of interest, which means if we have a listing, we can't take you on as a buyer. We have to either give you no agency or refer you to another agent. And then we also have a duty of confidentiality to whomever we're representing. So that means that we don't disclose what the reasons are for your buying and selling. We don't tell anybody your minimum or maximum price. And we also don't tell them what terms and conditions you want unless you specifically tell us to disclose that information to a listing or buying agent. When you represent yourself and you're going up to an agent and you're asking them questions, just understand that they have these fiduciary duties towards their client, so specifically sellers. And as a non-client, we have no duty of loyalty to you. We do not have a duty of full disclosure. We don't have to avoid a conflict of interest, and we have no confidentiality. So what that means is that anything you say can and will be used against you in an offer. So don't call the listing agent. When you meet with an agent, they will ask, do you want to be represented or not? And if you don't, then just understand you don't have any of those rights. If you do want to be represented, then we're going to give you another form, which is the privacy notice and consent. And what this does is, it again is a form that we have to share with you. It tells you basically when you go onto a website to use cookies and stuff, and we track the data. It's the same thing with the BCREA. They're tracking all the data that we're inputting in terms of listings and clients, and they are knowing who is paying what for what property. And the purpose of this data is because when we do a market analysis for you, we have to look at all the data, and then we have to analyze it and give it back. The other reason we give it back to you so we can offer you an advice on price. But the other reason why we do that is because it's their way of tracking who is buying and selling property. So if something happens, there is oversight on what's happening in the process. So we are overseen by our managing brokers, by the BC Real Estate Association, and also by the Canadian Real Estate Association. Again, this is an acknowledgement form, so it's not a contract, and it is something that we just share with you for the sake of informing you of what's going to be happening when you're working with us. So the first question any realtor should ask you if you phone them is, are you working with a realtor? And if you are, tell them you're working with me. All right, take care, you guys. And if you have any questions, just give me a call, 250-744-0775, and we'll see you out there at your new home.